Today we're talking about Melodic Generation with the Woovebox.
Freebie.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat. Today's patron shout-out goes to Mike Pounder. Thank you so very much for the support. If you'd like to support the channel, simply head to patreon.com/freebeat or click the link in the description. Let's get started. Okay, so in front of me here, I've got the Woovebox. Do I need to introduce this thing at this point? I feel like I've covered it enough on the channel that you probably know what it is. It's just basically a little groove box that can do a whole heck of a lot in this tiny form factor. And one of the things that it can do, and one of the things I've been using it for a lot lately, is generating melodic ideas. Much like something along the lines of the Polyend Tracker's fill function, or any sort of really randomization option that you might find in any sequencer, the Woovebox can instantly generate a random pattern per track. Per instrument in a pattern, basically. And lately, I've been using this functionality on the Woovebox specifically to get me started with a melodic idea, and today I'd like to walk you through that process. So it's pretty easy. As you can see, we're in song 8 here. I have that one pulled up because I know it's empty, but if I want to ensure that, I can go ahead and initialize it. There we go. Let's go ahead and pick a tempo. Default is 125. I really like 105 for songwriting. I find it's a great place to start because you can easily pull back or go forward depending on what you need. We'll go ahead and keep our root note C, and let's pick natural minor for our scale. Yeah, sounds good. Let's talk about time signature real quick. On the Woovebox, I like to write in 4/4, and then depending on what it generates melodically, I'll adjust the time signature accordingly if I feel it needs it. But one of the reasons I like to start in 4/4 is, well, I mean, it's the most common time signature, but it also enables me to go into the kick track, select a kick drum, and just lay something down 4 on the floor here. Just a really nice, basic place to start. Okay, so let's go to our lead track now. And by default, it's this piano thing. I'm not really a big fan of it, so we go to the patch page. I like this one a lot on number 6. Of course, you can change all these out, but we're just going to use a stock one here. On our way back to the sequencer, I'm going to stop off at the filter page, and I'm going to set the envelope to 0. There we go. Okay. On the amplitude page, make sure both of our envelopes attacks are set to 0. And then on the global page, we're going to go to button number 4 and turn off follow chord mode so we don't have any weird chord follow type stuff going on. I'm also going to remove any effects. So no reverb, no delay. I always like to add like 1 level of distortion. There we go. That works for me. So let's go ahead and randomize. So we're on pattern 1 here, right? So we open the context menu of pattern 1 on our sequencer page by holding right, clicking in the value knob until we get to random pattern. Then I hold down the value knob and it randomizes a pattern. There we go. Now what's key here is not to listen to this pattern yet. Okay, we're not going to hit play. Instead, what we're going to do is hold down play and press 2 to go to pattern 2. We are once again going to randomize a pattern on pattern 2. Then we're going to go to pattern 3, do the same thing. And pattern 4, and do the same thing. I like to work in groups of 4. Okay, so now we have 4 different patterns. Let's jump back to pattern 1. It's going to trigger that note just because we hit the 1 button there. And now before we hit play, I actually want to go to the pattern page and open the context menu here by holding right, clicking the value knob until we get to chain 4, and then hold it down. And what that does is automatically chain together those first 4 patterns, so it's just a shortcut you can use, which is really, really handy. Okay, back to the sequencer page. Let's hit play and have a listen to what it came up with. Okay, so it's not sounding great, and that happens quite frequently when you do this. And that's why I say I use this for idea generation. And with some simple tweaks, I think we can work with this pretty easily. However, I really don't like what it came up with for pattern 2, so we can just randomize this again here. I don't like the look of that either. That's better. Let's hear all 4 of these again together. Yeah, nice. Okay, so let's mess with our individual notes now. If we long press on a note, we can see the note itself and the octave. I like to keep everything melodically on the Woovebox within octaves 4 and 5, at least with this patch, so I'm going to take this F6 and make it an F5. There we go. Now what I'm looking for here is notes that are far away from each other, kind of bring those in closer together within our scale, of course, and just kind of clean up any weird extremities. See that? That sounds much better now than whatever it was before. That's fine. Down an octave. Okay, pattern 2. Gonna make that a G sharp. Gonna make this a G. I'm not sure if you can hear the power equipment outside, but apparently maintenance comes now on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it's getting harder and harder to make content here in our apartment complex. Anyway, back to the Woovebox. You'll notice I don't like to have 2 notes be the same that are right next to each other as well, as, you know, changing octaves and making sure that those are all quite similar. Yeah, typically, at least with melody, repeated notes don't sound great. All right, we're going to go back to pattern 1 and have a listen to our first 2 patterns. Much better. Much better. Let's go to pattern 3 now. Oh, we're already on it. And let's continue working here. Yeah, that's cool. Pattern 4 is not. Let's fix it. All right, we have now fixed all 4 of our patterns. I just went back to pattern 1. Let's have a listen. Okay, so the one major thing that's standing out to me is that the last note of pattern 4 and the first note of pattern 1 are the same. They're both an F5. So if we go to pattern 4, let's change this to G5. Make sure that's not a G5. Yep, okay, we're good. Back to pattern 1. Let's have a listen. Yeah, there we go. I'm liking that. And it's really just as simple as that. You simply go in, randomize however many patterns you want to work with. Of course, today we did 4. And then you just adjust the notes to what makes sense. So you don't want to have the same note, close to each other twice in a row. You don't want to have just giant octave skips all over the place. You generally want to kind of corral everything together within the scale, but use the rhythms that the Woovebox generates. And of course, at any point, you could go in and re-randomize a pattern if you wind up not liking a rhythm, or if you're just having a hard time making it work melodically, you could just re-randomize it. But from here, it's very easy to simply either record this, track this out, into your DAW or something like that, or via MIDI out on the Woovebox, go ahead and plug into another synth that you can record. Like I've got the Fireball here, or I don't know, the Volca keys or the Microfreak, whatever, really any synth that you want. And then you can start working with that melody on that device. So yeah, that's how I use the Woovebox for random melodic generation. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.